Happy May 20th, everybody. Happy Tuesday. We've got Jeff and Lance on today. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Doing good.
Awesome.
Good.
Well, everybody, we started these lives. I looked back today, Jeff. We started these in June of 2024, and we've been doing it every week since, except I think we missed 1 week while we were away on vacation together over the Christmas holidays. So
So it was over Christmas too. So that's acceptable.
Yeah. So that is the only week I think we missed, and we started these because people were asking questions, and they said, "Hey, how can we get a hold of you? How can we talk to you live?" So we love to do Zoom calls. That's our primary one-on-one communication before you come in town, or even if you are in town, we can meet you at the office. And then we do these weekly every week, and we encourage you to ask questions. So down in the comment, first of all, tell us where you're tuning in from. No matter where it is across the world, let us know your names and where you're tuning in from. And then we encourage you to ask questions about anything South Carolina. We'll try to answer it the best we can. And if we don't know, we'll try to get back to you once we do know. There's some things that just Jeff doesn't know, but most of the time he has the answer if there's an answer.
That's true.
Lance, listen, if we don't know it, Lance and I will make it up, and Mark will actually find out the truth.
Yes.
We will fill in. We will fill in. Yes.
Lance is on a fancy dancy new computer today, and he's
I'm
looking
excited
sharp there on that computer, I have to say.
Thank you.
You know, Lance, as Mark was talking about and Lance is somewhat newer to our team, been a few months now, but haven't had him on yet. But so wanted to get him on here to say hi to everybody. We'll talk more about Lance here in a minute. But Lance, as Mark was talking about, we've been doing this for almost a year now. We did miss the 1 week altogether, and we chose to do that. And then there was another week that Mark was gone on a Tuesday, and he left me in charge. And it did not go well. And you'll appreciate, because I feel like you are technically challenged, as am I, in many ways. And the screen was sideways. And I couldn't fix it. So we lasted about 10 minutes, and that was it.
Well, at least you had a screen, because if I were involved, we'll say that. That's about light years ahead of where I probably would have been. So you got that going for you.
Well, I accomplished something.
We got
Karen Robert, New Jersey. Hello.
New Jersey. How are you guys? We got Rose and Joe on from Rochester, New York. Hello,
Miss Blanca.
Jackie's on. Jackie says, "Hey, Lance."
Hello.
Hello,
Jackie is a longtime listener, not first-time poster. And her husband and I grew up in Massachusetts together. And we
had friends back then.
What's that?
They had friends back then. That's amazing.
Yeah. It was a new thing. Yeah. Ken is on. What's up, Ken? How's it going?
Hello, Ken.
Doing well for you over there. But yeah, EJ and I, her husband and I, go way back to cooking school in high school. So
cooking school. Wow.
Yeah, he pulled up this old picture of me. I'm gonna have to try to find it, and I'll share it. Even though I look like a dorky little boy in that picture, but it was him and I in a newspaper article or something like that. So
yeah, Lance, you didn't realize
we all look like
culinary skills.
Yes.
Didn't we all look like dorky little boys at that time in our lives?
Yeah,
not Jeff. Jeff didn't.
No, that's not true. My mother made me get a perm one time.
Yes. I want that picture.
No, sir. I promise you will never see that picture.
Jackie said, yeah, when we roamed with the dinosaurs, Jeff. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Lance, Mark has got culinary skills. And do you know how many times in our about 3+ year relationship he's cooked for me at his house? I think once.
0.0 once.
I got one time. He broke out the big stone griddle thing one time for me.
Blackstone.
See, it's always the guys that cook that really know how to cook. That all you get is you hear about how
Right.
they cook. You know,
Or you see
It's all-
pictures.
you hear- yeah, you hear about it. It's hearsay, innuendo. You never really experience it. Up
Well,
to the
imagine how
taste.
my wife feels. Like I cooked for her all the time when we were dating, and
Yeah.
she said, "Oh, I'm marrying a Johnson and Wales graduate," and then I haven't cooked in like 12 years except for on the
I'll
grill.
stop. Yeah.
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 Yes, Jeff.
Do we have time for a quick Jeff story?
Go for it.
Okay. So my wife doesn't know how to cook. And so she said to me, and we were newly married 26 years ago, I want to learn how to cook one meal. And so I said, okay, we'll do meatloaf and mashed potatoes, and we will not even use real mashed potatoes. We'll do the instant ones. So we go out to the grocery store, Giant Eagle up in Pittsburgh, and we do all of our shopping, and we buy everything for the meatloaf. And she mixes it up, and she puts it in the pan, and she turns on the oven, and she puts it in the oven, and she says, how do I know when it's done? And I said, baby, that's fantastic. That's a great question. Now you're thinking. It's real simple. You fill the sink up with water. You pull the pan out of the oven. You sit it in the water. And when it floats, it's done. Thinking my college-educated wife was not going to sink the meatloaf in the big pan, sink full of water. And that is exactly what we did. And that's about the last time that she's attempted to cook for the family in about 26 years.
Whoa.
She tried to make spaghetti
She was-
one time. It didn't go well either. She didn't know you're supposed to boil the water before you put the pasta in.
Oh,
You see, that you would think you see, she made you think that was a dumb move when in fact it was brilliant. Because
There's a case to
what
be
has
made for
happened,
that.
right? What has happened? She has not cooked since then, right?
Yeah.
Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah, you might be onto something.
Sharon says true. So I'm
Hi,
not telling lies.
Sharon.
Robin says poor Sharon lies. We got Ron and Dawn from Keene, New Hampshire, up by my neck of the hoods. What's going on, Ron and Dawn? Hope you guys are doing good. And then Anthony. What's up, Anthony? It's Anthony.
Anthony,
and Tammy.
aren't you? I forget. Aren't you coming down soon? I feel like you're coming down soon.
I thought he just came down.
Well, okay, maybe that's what it was. I think he's coming back though.
They're from Staten Island, New York. So we got the Northeast pretty well covered so far. Robin says, I'm going to find Andrea a very good divorce attorney.
No. Stop with the hate. Stop with the hate.
Anthony says, yes, in July. Okay, you were
See,
right.
that's what I was thinking. I was right.
See, yeah.
Talisha says she is brilliant. Yes. All right. Hey,
So should we introduce Lance officially, Mark?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Lance Morrison, new-ish to the team, been around, got some deals running already. Some of you have already met Lance. So Lance has been a great fit. We had another guy on the team. We were getting a little busy, and we kind of felt like we needed somebody else. And John White, that you all know from the team, said, he's a little goofy, but I feel like Lance Morrison might be a good fit for the team. And Mark and I sat down and chatted for a while and felt like he was right. So, Lance, in under 7 hours, tell me about you, your family, how long you've been here, what's your story?
Well, guys, I'm so excited to be here. You talked about John. It was the funniest thing when John introduced me to you. I was standing there and I had an out of body experience because he was describing me, and he was being so nice. And I was like, is he talking about me? And so I've been here since 1989 in the Charleston area. I'm a former submarine sailor, so I'm a vet. I speak vet, so I really like it here. I originated in Wilmington, North Carolina, and so I met a North Charleston girl here, and I settled here. I've sold everything under the sun. I really like working with people. That's just kind of my thing. It's not a cliche for me. I early on in my sales career, I kind of developed this thing because I sold a lot of building materials. I've sold cars, et cetera. And with this business, the same thing. I feel like when I'm working with people, I become just a small part of their history. They may never remember who the realtor was that they dealt with when they bought their first house, or the house that transition house, or but for that period of time that we are with people, whether it's 30, 60, 90 days, 6 months, or whatever, I was part of their history, and I do my best to make that experience as pleasant as possible, because that is my little part of their family history. So it's kind of a selfish motivation. So that's just kind of my thing. So I'm glad to be here. You guys are incredible. What you got going on is amazing. I just kind of stand back when I watch people meet you guys. We talked about it before. It's amazing when they come in and meet you guys. So I can't say enough about meeting you guys. The team is outstanding. Coming into the office, it was like I was already part of the group, because we got a pretty eclectic group, and I just appreciate all of you.
How much time did you spend in submarines? That's an interesting time. I've toured a few subs over the years, and I just cannot imagine spending a whole lot of time down in those things.
I did 3 years actually in the water. It's about a year of training that I was in. The longest time I was submerged was 75 days.
Oh, man.
And we were on a mission out in the ocean. I was in during, and this is how old I am. I was in during the at the tail end of the Cold War. A lot of people don't realize that in the late 80s, early 90s, the Cold War was still going on. So we were cruising around out there, as were the Russians, the commies, the bad dudes. And so, yeah, we were cruising around with missiles and whatnot. So, 75 days. It was.
Wow, that's a long time to go without seeing the sun.
Yeah, it definitely was an experience, and it's something I'm proud of. And I think I'm in an elite group. Looking back at the time, you certainly weren't thinking, "Hey, I'm part of an elite group." You're thinking, "I want to go home. This is the worst." But looking back, I was part of the greatest submarine force ever in the world, and so that's that's kind of a cool thing for me. So,
well, we thank you for your service, and we love having you on the team. And Mark, I had an epiphany just now. I got my Anthony's confused. There's two Anthony's from New York. I know the one that was talking before. He was here. He actually came in with a whole crew.
Yeah, thank you. I was just going to put that comment up.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
He was here with my friend Liz.
We got two Anthony's. There's another Anthony that is coming down. That's a different Anthony, but he's coming soon, I think. So yeah, I got my Anthony straight now.
We like all the Anthonys. They come on down. Come on, man.
Yeah. Well,
those the folks? Are those the folks
Anthony and Liz, and Anthony's boy came down, also named Anthony, and then Liz's daughter. I am now an Instagram follower of hers. She has a budding music career coming, so I've been paying attention to her. It was fun.
Heidi and Wes are on from Connecticut.
Hey guys,
Wes, miss you guys.
Connecticut. Sub schools in Connecticut, by the way. Sub schools in.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Groton, Connecticut. Yep.
Paul says thank you for your service, Lance.
My pleasure, brother. My pleasure.
Paul, we were at Paul's house today.
Oh, yeah. Well, we tried to get video for Paul. We did get a little video. I don't know if you sent it to him yet.
I have not.
There had to be 7 people working inside that house.
Yeah.
Paul, they were mudding your walls today. The drywall is up, and they were walking around on stilts, and we almost had mud dropped on our head, and we finally decided it was time to get out of there. It wasn't safe.
Hey, Jeff, I just want you to be careful. It looks like Andrea is watching today. So just
I love you, baby. Hi, sweetheart.
Be very careful.
I'm going to change my attitude immediately.
Brandon's on. Brandon says, what's your impression of Ladera Preserve? I've gotten the impression it's considered a little lesser of the neighborhoods.
I'll be happy to give you my thoughts on that. So Ladera Preserve is a Lennar neighborhood over in Cane Bay Plantation. They are building 2 different types of homes, and I don't remember the names of the 2 series. One is more of a starter home, and the other one has some more finishes to it. So I think it's really dependent on which of those series you're looking at. There's a big difference in the finishes of those 2. We've sold a bunch of homes over there. It's a lovely neighborhood. They've got 2 pools now, right, Mark?
2 pools and soon to be 3, I've heard.
Okay, so a really nice one up at the front where they it's a gorgeous pool. We did some video there one time. A dog park and playground up there, I think. And then there's another playground, a couple other playgrounds, and at least one more pool in the neighborhood. So they've got some really cool models. That one house over there that I love, I cannot remember the name of it, but it's got it's a big boy. It's got 2 really defined living spaces downstairs. So it's like you walk into this big living room area, and then there's another whole living area over like where the kitchen is also. And it's got like a loft and a bunch of bedrooms upstairs. So they got some little ranches over there up to the big boys. But if you've heard about them being, when somebody said a little lesser, my guess is they're talking about the series that's a little bit more like the starter home.
Yeah, the finishes, and that's his follow-up question, I think, here. In your opinion, who has the best finishes of all the builders in your experience?
So 2 different ways to think there. The first one is this a spec home or is this a build from the ground up? If it's a build from the ground up, then the finishes are on you. It's what you put in it. Now, there are builders that have higher levels of standard finishes. So, for instance, a Stanley Martin, an Ashton Woods, they're going to have higher levels of what comes standard in the house. True Homes is another great example. They're what they have that comes. Their basic isn't basic. It's nicer. Nobody ever buys a base home, but you got to put a lot less stuff in them. Now, when it comes to spec homes, Mark, we've seen a lot of the ones in Nexton basically are all higher level in their spec homes in Brighton Park or Midtown. And then there's some builders over in Cane Bay also, the Dream Finders, Mark.
Dream Finders and Mungo, I would say, too.
Mungo, yeah. And then some different things over at Meritage also.
Yeah.
So it depends on the neighborhood, but there's different. We're well aware. So Lennar and Horton, for the most part, the Starlight homes, they're not going to put as many finishes in their spec homes as something in one of the other neighborhoods in Cane Bay or in most of the neighborhoods in Nexton.
Yeah. Oh, Jackie said, "Oh no, we're not showing that. My phone is dead, Jackie."
Oh, Jackie, send it to me. Send it to me on Facebook or anything. Just make sure I get it.
What else? Did I miss any comments? Andrea gave you a smiley stick out the face.
I think Andrea is stuck tonight at a volleyball game. So Riley had her final match of the year for her club on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, Saturday, and they lost, so they didn't get to play tonight in the finals. It was as close. It went 3 sets, and they lost by 2. So it was as close as you could possibly get. Riley played fantastic.
Oh wait, why is she at the volleyball game if you're
because one of her best friends, their team did go through in a different section of that league, And so I think they went over tonight to
support.
Riley and Andrew are doing a whole mommy-daughter out this evening because I was on the live here. They were going to get their nails did for the cruise this coming week and running some errands and picking up some stuff for the cruise and going to the volleyball game.
Why do you cruise? Brandon said thumbs up, by the way.
Thank you,
why do you cruise so much, Jeff?
Because you don't ever give me a day off when I'm at home, and if I want a day off, that's the only way. I have to go into international waters to do it.
No, that's not true. There's been plenty of times where
I'm lying.
I've got this, and plenty of times you told me that. Probably you more than me. You let me take the day off more than you.
It's so great. Listen, this is going to sound so sappy, but like Mark and I get along so well because honestly, like I would rather have him take the day off and he'd rather have me take the day off. And so we both feel guilty sometimes. We're like, well, let's just go do it together and I'll meet you there too. And we go and work on the weekends or whatever anyway. But yeah. I love cruising. I'm a big cruiser. I try to get on at least 2 a year. I've got 2 scheduled this year. We're going on the Wonder of the Seas out of Port Canaveral on Sunday, which is another great thing I love about living here in Summerville. It's only 6 hours to get down to Port Canaveral. And we're going down Friday, and we're going to Kennedy Space Center with my friend Doug and his wife Savannah, and then our friend Rodney and Amy and my whole family. And then we go out on Sunday. Lance, I'm thinking I'm going to be a little bit more comfortable out on the water in my cruise ship than what you are. On the sub. But you're actually a cruiser also, aren't you? You just did one recently.
We did 2 like back to back. Well, not back to back, within 3 or 4 months of each other. So yeah, we just got back from Port Canaveral. We did Royal Caribbean. It was an older ship. We weren't that crazy about it. My wife was kind of sick that week, but we had a great time. We were with good people, good friends of ours. So yeah. A lot of it is just what you make of it. So, yeah, but we really enjoy cruising. I mean,
I like to just sit and stare at the water with an umbrella drink.
Jeff, I've got a little bone to pick with you about the 6 hours to Port Canaveral. It's never taken me 6 hours. It's always been more. I want to know.
I agree.
6 hours. I mean, with, if you were to drive nonstop.
Yeah, so 7 hours and 32 minutes.
There's no possible. That's got bad traffic somewhere. Hold up. What kind of crazy route are you taking? No. You're not following I-95 all the straight down. You're going through Orlando there.
This is the fastest way, it says.
That is not the fastest way.
I've never done 6 hours. I mean, I've never done.
It's at least 6.5.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if you're laying the hammer down
in ways right now.
You're teleporting or something. I don't know what you're doing.
Okay, listen. There's something doing. There's an accident or something that's taking people off of 95.
Oh, so I'm not an idiot like you just called me?
Oh. Did I say the word idiot? I don't think I said the word idiot. I might have said idiot. If I did say idiot, I apologize.
You said, what kind of idiot way are you taking?
Well, that was the way you were out. The way was not the taker of the idiot way.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Brandon has another question. Is there a concern about a real estate dip? I see Florida is on the verge of a collapse.
Okay, Brandon, I'm going to talk at great length about that in just 1 second. But Google Maps right now, 6 hours and 1 minute to Port Canaveral.
You do 2 stops.
That's if you were to go nonstop. Yes, I make stops on top of that. But listen, I cannot control this. They have 2 Buc-ee's and soon to be 3 Buc-ee's in between here and Port Canaveral. So, yes, we're stopping for beaver nuggets.
Okay, wait a minute. Well, back up. So what you're saying is, theoretically speaking, it's 6 hours. But if you're a normal human family and you stop and you do the Buc-ee's thing and you do what humans do, like go to the bathroom, whatnot, and then you fuel up your car, that kind of thing, it's probably close to, I don't know, 8-ish hours.
Listen, okay, number one, if you're taking 8 hours, you're pooping. This is only P stops allowed. So that's the first thing. We're in it to go. Let's go. We need to get down to the cruise ship. Let's go.
Okay. I've got my finger on the mute button in case he says something crazy right now.
You got me a little riled up now.
And you got like 3 ladies, right? You got it. So you are really pressing it, man. Can you videotape just videotape it all the way down. Just keep the camera on with the timer, just so we can see.
I've got
the 6 hours.
I've got the dash cam thing that records the car also. I'll work on it.
Yeah, we want to see the whole 6 hours.
Teresa says, "Pull the curtain."
Rude.
Yeah. So Brandon says, "Is there a concern about a real estate dip? I see Florida is on the verge of a collapse."
Yeah, Florida's having some tough times right now. They're it's for multiple reasons. Number one is the condo market is struggling because they had that condo collapse down there. And so now any condo that's older than 30 years, I think, has to be reevaluated. And so they've had a lot of HOA increases and assessments. Some of them, their condo HOA used to be $300 a month, and now it's $3,000 a month because they've got some massive costs coming. So that's one piece of it. They got beat up on hurricanes the last few years, and so people just finally said a few times, like, that's it. I'm done. I can't take any more hurricanes. I'm going back a little further north and settling in the Carolinas where there's less. And then as part of the hurricanes, they really have hit with home insurance. We had Christy on last week, and she was talking about how Florida has been crushed in the home insurance market. So that's what's going on with Florida. Locally here, we always promise the good, we always promise the bad. I'm not expecting any real problems here in Charleston, because at the end of the day, people still want to move here. Like, we have loads of people that are coming in, and like we were talking last week with Christy, like, we have seen our insurance rates go up. So I was at I'm at like $2,400 a year now for my home insurance. But when you take into account that my taxes are like $2,200 a year also, and people are coming from Connecticut and New York and New Hampshire and Rhode Island and Mass, where they're paying 8, 10, 12. We had somebody that was paying $16,000 a year, and another one that was more. They're looking at the big picture, and it's kind of a much better environment here. And then the other thing that's keeping us insulated from some problems that Florida have is our state is a great state to work in. And so we've had a lot of big employers come here recently, and they are jobs, drive the real estate market. So I don't think we're going to have a collapse here. Like, none of the smart guys are telling us that there's another 2008 coming in this market. Mark, do you agree with?
I do, and we got some year-to-date stats that I was able to hit on today, or I will hit on in a few minutes.
Okay.
So I think that'll even drive that home even a little bit more.
All right.
Kevin says we were on the Wonder of the Seas last week, Eastern Caribbean, and he said to eat at the Mason Jar.
Okay, so I've got dinner at the Mason Jar booked. They had a heck of a deal on the it was like 50% off I got on the all upper end dining, the dining package. So I have like 7 dinners at some of the nicer restaurants, and then 3 lunches. They do lunches on sea days. And so I did book Mason Jar, but Andrew and I, when we were on Utopia of the Seas, they have a Mason Jar also. We found a couple drinks over there that we really like. It was one apple pie moonshine drink, and then mine, the one I found that I really liked, and I actually tried to make it, or kind of made a version of it back at the office one day when we had a bunch of people in, was blackberry moonshine and lemonade. And it was tasty, and I will have several of those next week, Kevin.
Brandon says, I live in the upstate New York and I pay $17,000 on taxes.
Good Lord, that's painful.
Yeah, we've been hearing quite a few people coming from that upstate New York area that are paying that, and then they come down here and pay less than $3,500, pretty much no matter where you live in one of the tri-county areas. So just that savings alone, you could buy a car with almost. So
seriously, Lance, you live down in North Charleston, in a 55 plus neighborhood down there that we really haven't talked about a whole lot. We did have one video on the channel of a listing down there. So you're in Charleston County, I'm assuming, right?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
How's your tax there?
Well, Charleston County typically is a bit higher than Dorchester or Berkeley County. But Dorchester, given the activity with the industry and whatnot, is really kind of catching up. But traditionally, Charleston County taxes have been higher. But
what do you pay on your house?
I'm probably paying about $2,000 a year on mine.
Yeah,
it's not terrible.
Yeah.
What always strikes me is when I'm working with folks from up north. I mean, and you guys have probably experienced this before. When you talk to people and you say, "Oh yeah, the taxes on this house are going to be like $2,000 or $2,500," and they go, "A month." And you go,
"Yeah, we lady from Connecticut say that."
They go, "No, for the year," and they go, "Are you sure?" Yeah,
I had one that made me show her online where it was. And I feel like in general, Dorchester and Charleston are kind of equal-ish inside, and then Berkeley's just a little bit less than those two. But none
Berkeley's
of the three
catching
are
up.
Crazy.
No, they're not terrible. They're not terrible. But with the coming of industry and they're trying to catch up with. We always talk about infrastructure. They're edging it up a little bit. So, yeah, it's getting up, but it's nothing like folks coming from places like upstate New York are dealing with. So,
yep.
Oh, Jeff, I found a new toy inside our platform here. So I'm going to turn it on. We're going to try it, and we may have to turn it off quickly if somebody doesn't play nice in the sandpit. But
okay.
Live comments from viewers will appear on screen. Keep the conversation going. Make your audience part of it. Okay, so we'll see. Comments should automatically come up in the future as people hit them. So we'll have to see how.
No, sir.
What do you mean no?
What part of my wife and your wife are both on this thing? Don't you understand? Turn that off.
Well, let's just try it. Just see. Let's just try it. If it goes bad, I can just shut it off. John and Justine say, "Hey guys, John and Justine from Long Island here." Oh, look, there it is on the right.
Oh, yeah, see how that works.
Yeah, high taxes and 48 degrees tonight in May. Paul's in.
Now, see, you're losing focus on the one you're trying to talk to right now.
Sorry.
You got too many
discussions on commercial development on Black Tom Road? I know they are discussing. She had another comment. I know they are discussing development east of Summerville to 17, but it would be nice if there was commercial business on Black Tom Road. So they're building the school back there now, and the school is not. If you go out Cane Bay Boulevard and to Black Tom Road and take a right, the school's right there on the left. Well, supposedly right across from the Cane Bay Black Tom entrance, there will be some commercial there. It's not going to be a whole lot, though, because that school takes up a big area. So I haven't heard much since they first talked about that area. So it's been like a year. So I think we'll have to see how the school does, how the traffic all does over there with the school before we know for sure. But Mark, there was talk at one point about it.
Am I correct that when we were talking about the possible new stuff coming in Cane Bay around the lake, that's on the Black Tom Road side of Cane Bay, so that potentially right?
Not really. It's more going from the end of Fairwinds Boulevard, which is out by Summerwind Crossing, towards 17. So towards Highway 17, not towards Blackstone.
Okay. But 5 minutes from there. I mean,
yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, golf cartable.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. So Paul said high taxes, 48 degrees tonight in May. He's in Western Mass, I believe.
That's unacceptable. 48 degrees still.
48.
Yeah, that's wrong in many ways.
I looked at my car today and it said 96. I know it wasn't 96 here, but you know how the car sometimes reads hotter.
Yeah. My pool water was 82 before I came up here, though. So that's heated up a lot.
What is the happy spot for pools?
That is perfect to me. 80 to 83, 84 maybe. Once you get over 84, it feels like bath water to me. Some people like it 90 degrees. That ain't me. But
no, that's
80 to 84 is probably perfect for me. And then 85 is when we start turning the chiller on when it works.
You've been struggling with the chiller?
Well, the chiller and the heater. The compressor went bad after 3.5 years of owning the pool. So luckily it's under warranty, but not under warranty for the labor, just the parts. So
of course.
Yeah, it is what it is. John and Justine say tomorrow high in New York City is 49 degrees. Why would anybody want to live there?
That's why people are flocking to Charleston.
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons.
We see what the weather is here tomorrow. Tomorrow's high of 93, low of 72. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sunny days in a row coming up. Highs are all about 90 to low 80s, and the lows are low 60s to mid 70s. That's about freaking.
I don't know how I'm gonna make it through, guys. How am I gonna endure that?
Teamwork, buddy. We got your back. We got you.
Okay, guys. Thanks.
I'm sure you'll do just fine with that shirt on. You'll be.
Yeah. It's you digging this shirt, man?
I am.
That's a total Jeff shirt there.
Yeah. Did you wear those before you met Jeff or just after you met?
No. What's really funny is that when I came on the team, I have a lot of these shirts in my closet, right? And I didn't know what the uniform was. I didn't realize you guys had a uniform. And so, I'm wearing like khakis and golf shirts and stuff. And then I'm like, all you guys are showing up in these shirts and the shorts and all. And I'm like, I have these uniforms in my closet. I already have these uniforms. So I didn't have to go, purchase anything. I just went right to the closet and boom, I have those uniforms. So here I am.
Nice. All right. You want to hit on year-to-date stats, Jeff? What do you think?
Yes. Bring it. I'm ready.
All right. I'm going to turn the comments off for that so that we can talk about this. So this is kind of the summary I put together. Year-to-date comparing, January through April of 2025 compared to January through April of 2024. So overall, transactions are down. So the number of homes that sold are down a full 3%, which I was a little shocked that it was that much. But I was even more shocked how much down April was compared. 7.1% down in transactions. Now, I think some of this, when we hit the mortgage numbers on the next slide for our weekly stats, are causing that 7.1% down. Yep. But look at the next one, 3.6% increase in median sales price. So just because we have less transactions, it's not like people are struggling to sell their home because our median sales price is still going up 3.6%. So I thought that was interesting.
This is one reason why, as an investment, I feel like Charleston is so strong because people still want to be here, so the home values do continue to increase. But I don't know. I mean, so we have 3.6% increase in the median sales price, but I feel like from us looking at the market on a daily basis, there are currently some deals to be had in real estate in Charleston because of the amount of inventory that there is right now.
Yeah, especially the new construction, because new construction's doing all the buy downs on some builders anyways when they have an overload of inventory.
Yeah.
And the fourth little icon there, I was really surprised to see that we only had 3.2 months of inventory. So 23 of the 32 markets that we looked at have less than 4.5 months of inventory, and 7 of the 32 markets or areas have more than 8 months of inventory. Now that's a lot of inventory, 8 months. Now I did hear on a podcast today, the Myrtle Beach market, as of mid-May anyways, was at 8 or 9 months of inventory in the whole market. So us to be 3.2 compared to Myrtle Beach's 8, that was a shocker, especially since home prices are a little bit lower in Myrtle Beach than they are here in the Charleston area.
I think back in the day, when houses were flying off the shelves in 12 seconds, we were down to under 1 month of inventory. I think 0.8 was the lowest I remember seeing it, if my recollection is working.
Yes, you're right.
6 months. Now, Lance and Mark, you might correct me on this because I could be making this up, but I feel like back in the day in real estate school or somewhere from Charleston Trident Association of Realtors, we felt like 6 months of inventory, meaning it would take 6 months to sell every home that's available on the market. Is kind of an even market. Do you guys remember it that way?
Yeah, that's
correct.
That's
correct. 6 months is kind of where we wanted to be, and you're right. A few years ago when it was just craziness, we were way down. We were less than 30 odd days of time on the market. It was crazy. And 3.2 months of inventory is just ridiculously low too, comparatively, because we could, and we've seen this too in the last year or so. Our inventory is like an accordion. We can have really strong months or strong weeks.
Yeah.
And suddenly, you can look at the MLS one day and go, hey, the inventory is looking pretty fat this week. And then you go in and you're talking about it. And then a week later, you're like, where did all those houses go?
Right.
So it moves quite a bit. So,
and I feel like a big piece of it is also like when we're talking about the whole market, West Ashley, James Island, Mount Pleasant, Daniel, that's a heck of a difference between Nexton and Cane Bay, Summerville.
Yeah. Those words that I put towards the bottom there are exactly that. The change of price from 2024 to 2025 in percentage. So all 5 of these areas have gone up. The second one I'm a little surprised about, but all the other ones are just the popular areas where they don't have a lot of new construction. Right. When inventory starts going down, that's when you're going to see those 15, 20% price increases. And maybe that's the same as across St. Stephen Bono area, because there's not a whole lot of new construction going on out there. And we see more and more people wanting to be a little bit more country and have a little bit more land. And so maybe that is why we're seeing the 20.3.
Well, and we've got more and more industry heading that way too, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So that's the builders will catch up.
Yeah. Lisa and Steve are on. How's it going, Lisa? We were in your neighborhood today. Lisa says, what is the change in price in the Somerville Cane Bay area? The reports that I looked at didn't break it all the way down to the neighborhood, so we'll have to do some research on that. But I feel like we're probably maybe 1 or 2%. If you look at Somerville overall, it was right around 2%. So, I'm guessing Cane Bay next in Somerville area overall is going to be right around that whole Somerville number for sure.
Yeah, houses are sitting for a minute in Somerville and Nexton and Cane Bay because of all the new construction. So it's again, once all of this new construction ends, and especially in a neighborhood, if you're in a specific neighborhood, like Lisa, let's talk about Summerville. If you're in a specific neighborhood, your house becomes much easier to sell, and you've got a whole lot less competition when the new construction ends in that neighborhood. So we've got a lot of neighborhoods that have years to go in Cane Bay, but we've got a lot of neighbors that are finishing up and are going to be done in the next year, 18 months to 2 years max. So I think that those numbers will then continue to increase for our buyers in these markets. That's why it's such a good time right now, because there are occasionally some really phenomenal deals because of all that new construction.
Yep. So our weekly numbers, we have mediocre activity this past week. 320 were under contract. That was only up 14. We should be seeing a little bit stronger activity as we go later into the spring market. As the kids start to think about getting out of school here, we should see more people than we have. And so that's why, all the smart guys were saying it's kind of mediocre. Our median price this week compared to last week went way down, which some of that is because we only had 320 under contract. We saw, I think it was like 80 homes were in the Summerville market compared to the Mount Pleasant, Charleston, West Ashley market. So that's kind of why we saw that median, that price per square foot go down. And then single family homes were up 259, but condos and townhomes were down to 51. So that was down 16 from last week. And then the mortgage rates still creeping up week over week. We're seeing almost 1/10 of a point going up rather than going down. And one of the news things I saw stated that this is the highest rate in over a month and a half or so that we've seen. As you can see, we're right there at 7%, almost 6.99. So I feel like that's some of the reason why that transaction number is down.
All right. Can I give my monthly talk about why we shouldn't care as much about mortgage rates?
Yes, go for it.
All right. So let's take this market that is gonna increase 4% on average every year. That means that the house that is gonna be, that's 500 today is going to be 5 whatever next year, and 5 whatever the year after that. And when we have those occasional years where we've got 10-12% increases, we had an 18 in Summerville 4 years ago in COVID nonsense. The houses are going to continue to increase. There's no crash coming to Summerville like that we can see. So the houses are going to continue getting more expensive, and the mortgage rates can be refinanced should they ever come down. Now, that being said, I want this house to be affordable. So if you can afford it now at 7%, then you can definitely afford it if the rates do come down and you can refinance and get a lower rate. But we assume that these prices are going to continue to climb. And we've had a lot of rate buy downs available. Mark and I were meeting with a builder today talking about rate buy downs. And I feel like there's more coming because these builders are sitting on the inventory and they only want to decrease the price so much. And so once they get to their comfort level where they can't decrease the price anymore, they're going to start offering rate buy downs, and they've already started doing that.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, because it's just going to keep going up as we see. Even though the transactions went down, our price increase kept going up. So
yep.
Makes
Jeff, if I could just interject something to your point, and I talked a lot about doing the math. To your point, we talk a lot about interest rates, and people only consider the interest rates on the one side. But to your point, houses are really appreciating at a great clip in the Charleston market. People very seldom factor that in on the other side. The other thing they don't really factor in on the interest side is every time you make a payment in this market, you're literally paying yourself. I mean, your principal is you're really paying yourself because you're putting your money back in. You're putting it back in your house. So, you really have to consider the whole thing. And if you're just focused on that interest rate, then you're not doing yourself any favors. So.
Tony says, "Hey guys, less than 2 weeks till our visit." That's the other Anthony you were talking about, right, Jeff?
Yeah, come on, let's go.
Brandon has a great question that, Jeff, you can relate to this question.
Yeah.
Very, very, very much so. Are there any over 55 communities that allow children? My kids will be 15 and 13 when I turn 55.
All right, so the answer is not really. There is one neighborhood that was originally pushed as more of a 55 targeted area, and it still is. I feel like because of the types of homes and the amenities that they're putting in, and that they cut the grass, and Mark and I were actually out there today. It's Summerwind, and kids are allowed. There's a couple. There's not a lot. But kids are allowed in Summerwind out in Cane Bay. But there are some other areas that are not 55 plus communities that have some pretty phenomenal amenity centers, and that may be what you're looking for. So, for instance, Summers Corner is in the non-Horizons area, has a fantastic amenity center coming. Carnes, the one that I live in, there's ranch homes here in Carnes, and the amenity center. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. There's video coming out very soon of the new amenity center that opened last Tuesday. It is phenomenal. They way overdid what we expected. So if these are kids that are in your house, yeah, like the Del Webb, the Four Seasons, Crestwinds, Horizons, they're not going to happen. Once kids turn 19, they can live in your house in those neighborhoods.
All right, great. Brandon says, thank you very much with a thumbs up. Peggy says, I think they're almost giving them away here in Summerwind Crossing. We did see a few deals.
We have a video coming out here in a couple weeks that we just filmed in there. They were running the two specs we did were what, Mark, 375 to 425.
Yeah.
And really nice houses.
All right, I think I have the Carnes video pulled up. All right, let me play this and make it big.
So here's the new center that opened last Tuesday. Mark and I went in there a week ago. We did about a 40-minute walk-around video. So that should be coming out on the channel soon. You'll notice on the right of the screen is that farm that we've talked about in the past. You get $150 credit on your app to use at the farm store when you live there, so you can buy fresh produce from those fields. And Mark, we just learned that's a 3-acre farm there. They have another 8 acres coming out in another part of the neighborhood that they're going to be growing crops at also. And then so the far building is the barn and the farm store. The building closest to us right now is where you go enter into the pool, and then the gym is there, which my wife has already drugged me there twice in the last week and tried to kill me at the gym. And then there's a dance studio there. And then on the far side of the pool there at 12 o'clock from this view is the lake house. And Mark, I think that blew our doors off when we saw the inside of that thing.
Oh, yeah. It was so cool. They had like a vendor in there and set up coffee shop, and it was really cool. They won't have that there all the time, but I think
actually,
it'll be great.
Mark, I just got an email. They've got like sandwiches and stuff now. They're in that cooler for sale too.
Okay,
yeah,
that's awesome. And
there's the big deal for the kiddos. The water slide right there. The water slide opened on Saturday, so it's going to be open on the weekends during May, and then I think it's open every day after that. And then there's also pickleball, tennis, basketball courts. There's fire pits alongside the lake. Playgrounds. There's a zip line for the kids. It's absolutely, I would say now, in a non-55 neighborhood, it's the best amenity center in all of South Carolina. I can't think of a better one.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Neighborhood like that, you wouldn't have to leave, during the weekend. Where would you have to go if you had your kids there? I mean, really?
Yeah. And Lance, you can golf cart, ride your bike to multiple restaurants. The grocery store Publix is coming. It'll be done this year. And there's tons of restaurants right here in Carnes. So you're right. You never have to leave.
It's like resort style living there. That's amazing.
I say that all the time. It's like living at a Marriott resort because I've spent a bunch of time at Marriott resorts. It's that vibe.
You are in your neighborhood. You are definitely living Carolina. I definitely
am living Carolina. I'm living the life, baby.
So
except for that dang stair climber that tried to kill me.
I think that's a good segue.
See how you dropped that in there, Mark. That was pretty good. Pretty good,
yeah,
buddy. Pretty
good segue there, buddy.
Yeah, I think it's a good segue into our new logo. So we're changing our team name from the Charleston Area Living Team into this new Living Carolina team at Realty One Group Coastal. So we're not changing brokerages or anything. We're not changing really any personnel, except we're expanding a little bit because one of our guys decided, hey, I want to be near my grandchildren, but I still want to be a part of the team and I'll still be in South Carolina. So why can't we make this happen? And we said, you're right, we can make it happen. So Mike on our team, who you guys have seen on here a bunch of times, is going to be eventually permanently moving to the upstate of South Carolina in Spartanburg, and he'll cover the Spartanburg and Greenville markets up there, which is basically the whole upstate for sure. And we've already got a listing up there, right?
Yeah, got a listing up there, and in some other parts of the states. We've got some deals working in Myrtle Beach now. We did a contract this week down at Sun City at Del Webb. So I think we're going to continue to expand down into that market. So we want to kind of be, because a lot of people when they come to town, like, hey, listen, I'm thinking about Myrtle Beach, I'm thinking about Summerville, I'm thinking about Hardyville. So we want to be able to work with you no matter what.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so let's get to these other comments here. Robert said, "What's the HOA in your neighborhood, Jeff?"
Robert, I don't remember. I think it's going to be $1,600 a year when it's all done. I should have had a better answer for that because mine's a little different because I was one of the original builders in here. So mine, I just know, went up $45 a month for the new amenity center. I had the option to choose to join or not join since I'm one of the original. I'm the OG in here in an Eastwood home. So it went up $45 a month, but I'll get you that answer.
All right. Anthony says, do they have 3,500 square foot floor plan homes in Carnes?
I don't think the one is up to 35, but I know it's over 3.
Yeah, I think they have maybe 2 models, if I'm thinking right, that will go pretty close to that, if not right at it. But Anthony, we can definitely look it up for sure.
Yeah, they do have one that's really pretty cavernous. That's huge.
That one's got a walk-in closet on the primary bedroom that is just massive. Yeah. It's like a whole nother room.
Yeah, there's one at the downstairs. If it's empty, there's a huge echo down there because I've done some open houses over there.
Yeah.
So.
Bob and Edna are on. Hi guys, got on late, but we'll watch the recap. Just want to say hi. Looking forward to July 2nd, seeing you all to buy our forever home. We are excited.
Super excited.
All right, well, that brings us right to the top of the hour. Jeff, was there any other final words that you wanted to say that were appropriate for this broadcast?
Yeah. Welcome to Lance. Super excited. Great guy. If you're lucky enough to get teamed up with Lance, how we work is whenever you come to town, typically it's Lance, Mark, and I will meet with you, or one of the other guys, and Mark and I will meet with you, and then the guys take you out and go walk through some doors together, and then Mark and I kind of circle back around and kind of keep the whole process going. So Lance is super excited to have him here. I won't be here next Tuesday. If I have a good enough signal and I don't have an adult beverage in my hand or a show to go to at 7, I might jump on and say hi just because I think it'd be cool to be on a YouTube live from a cruise ship. How awesome would that be? So I'll see if I can jump on and say hi. We didn't next week, Mark. Tell them who's on next week with you. Or did I even tell you?
Did you get it confirmed? I didn't
get it. Yeah, he's good.
Okay. So next week, you back by popular demand, you guys asked for it to come back again. We have Joe from Joe's Carts on. and he's gonna answer a bunch more questions about the golf cart lifestyle that we love and live here in Carnes and in Nexton and in Cane Bay and a few other neighborhoods too. So make sure you definitely tune in next week with Joe and myself, and we might have one of our team on as well, just to float some questions.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Jeff, we didn't do the question. Should we do the question real quick? We forgot the question.
Yeah, super fast, I guess. Let's do it.
Yeah,
because
all right.
I want to redeem myself, and I feel like Lance is going to do well with this.
Yeah. So, Lance, how many single-family homes that went under contract last week were over $1 million? So I'm pretty sure the number was 359. So out of those, no, 259.
That's my guess right there.
Jeff's 37. What do you say?
Oh,
Lance?
wow. Whoa, is it that high? 33.
It's been higher than we expected it, Lance. We were guessing low for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
when you say over $1 million, where are you talking about? In the entire market?
Yeah, Charleston.
Where?
Market.
Yep, Charleston market.
Wow, that is tough, man.
Anthony says 42. Rose
42.
says,
yeah.
Rose says 46. Robert says 46. Jackie says 39. What do you say, Lance?
47.
47. All right. The actual number was 43. Pretty close.
Anthony got it.
That's a lot of houses in this market. Over $1 million. That's a lot of houses. That's a lot of houses.
I think Anthony was the closest, right?
I think Anthony's the closest.
Good job, Anthony. Good job. All right.
And that is, how far is that spread? Is that mainly on the Mount Pleasant side, or where is that? Do you know?
It's predominantly down Daniel Island, Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, Daniel Island, Mount Pleasant
areas.
West Ashley might have a few in there for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. That's still a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. All right. Well, I think that ends it for sure. At the end here, when we cut off, there'll be a video that pops up. There's a QR code. Scan that QR code. Book a Zoom call with us. We would love to chat with you more about anywhere in South Carolina, as we were just talking with the Live in Carolina team. And, thanks so much for inviting us into your homes and on your TVs. Did you know 63% of you are? So thanks for allowing us to be part of your Tuesday evening. And we look forward to seeing you next week with Joe from Joe's Carts. See ya.